If you're like me and wintertime comes around and you're like, man, I wish I had some winter kit. Well, here's some tips on how to make some winter kit on the cheap. You probably already have invested in a chest rig. Now, it doesn't matter what style of chest rig you have. If you have one, maybe that's not quite your favorite anymore, then simply get a can of flat white. Make sure it's flat white spray paint and spray it in that material really good. And if you're going to add additional pouches, keep them separate from the chest rig and spray paint them as well. These two little pouches were attachments on a British field pack, so then I spray painted them as well. Now don't worry about the material being solid white. It's okay that it starts to get, maybe if you're spraying a multicam or say Ranger Green and some of that material seems to be creeping through on your paint job, that's all right, because when you're out in the woods, that really adds to the effectiveness of your winter camo. It actually helps to break up the silhouette. So figure out what kind of chest rig you want and get that can of paint out, and you'll make yourself a nice winter camo chest rig. It is really easy to camo gloves. Now, you can see the natural color of the gloves. They're kind of like a dull tannish color. Now, I simply took the same spray paint and sprayed over the surface of the glove. So anywhere that my glove is kind of exposed to a person's view, that part I've camoed white with the spray paint. Now, I didn't camo the palms because I didn't want the paint, if it's on the palms, is going to wear off, and it's going to wear off quickly, especially when you're grabbing your rifle or doing any kind of tasks out in the forest. So flat white paint will camo your gloves really, really well. Now, as you can see, my glove is wearing out. It's not a big deal. You can find nice kind of warm, these are a Thinsulate lined winter glove. These are actually a work glove. And if they wear out, toss them away, get another pair of gloves and hit them with the white spray paint, and you will always have nice winter camoed gloves. Lots of you out there in the community like having battle belts and belt kits, maybe a LBE or a PLC if you're kind of in the UK. Now, you can turn that into winter camo kit as well. Once again, get the flat white spray paint out. So this battle belt is a micro adjustable battle belt from Core Essentials, and it was Ranger Green, and I turned it into a winter camo belt. And I didn't this year. I didn't even have to touch up the paint. It's held up the paint really well. Now, I always like to carry a hatchet when I'm out scouting and doing things in the wintertime. So I simply took a single mag pouch. This is a British military surplus pouch. And then I spray painted the pouch. Slit the bottom. Now I have a very effective way to carry my hatchet. Losing tools and things can always be a concern in the wintertime. So you want to make sure things are tethered and secured on your person very well, so you're not, because if you lose something in wintertime, you're never going to find it. Simple as that. It'll fall in the snow and it's gone forever. Now, this is my Grand Forks Brook wildlife hatchet. I did the same thing. So you want to take painter's tape and cover up the head of the axe, because you don't want to get paint on there. That really starts, especially if you get paint on the tip, it really starts to affect the performance of your bushcrafting and winter tools. So keep the paint off the steel, and then your axe you won't have any issues using it. So I simply took the leather sheath, painted it, and once the hatchet was taped off, I painted the handle, so now it blends really well. When I first was making my winter kit, subscribers were like, hey, you know, you could see your axe handle sticking a mile away. So last year I made some alterations and took care of that. And now my hatchet is nice, has some nice winter camo. So that worked out really well. Next, I took a dump pouch. This was an older Cad Pat dump pouch, and hit it with paint as well. This I used to carry my, this carries my insulated canteen in the wintertime. So as you can see, it's getting a little bit of wear. I did touch it up this year with the spray paint as well. But as you can see how some of the material color comes through, and that's okay, because that really adds to the effectiveness of your winter camo. If you ever look at, say, a German military snow poncho, and they have the little green blotches on the white background, well, you get a similar effect when you spray paint your kit and then some of the material comes through. So it really adds to its effectiveness. And then lastly, I took my my BPS knife, my Raven tactical knife, and I painted the sheath and then also the knife. Again, making sure I took painter's tape, covered up the blade so I wouldn't get any paint on the blade. Now, I learned that from making a previous mistake. I had a K-bar knife. I'll make it all green, and I painted the blade and everything. Well, that just became a real headache when it came time to sharpen the knife, and then I had to deal with the paint issue on the blade. So yeah, so overall that makes a really effective winter camoed belt kit. Yeah, get out that flat white paint. Gaiters are really important in the wintertime. So even though my pants go over my boots, if you're going to be stepping in deep snow, snow will find its way and creep it under your pants, and then it's going to get close to your skin and start to melt and work its way down into your boot. So to avoid that issue in the wintertime, combat gaiters are really important, really effective. Now these were a pair of aftermarket. They were multicam, and I had first spray painted them brown because I was testing out some natural colors in the forest, and then when winter came, I just simply hit them with white. So it gives a really nice wood, barky, textured look. Makes it a really effective winter camo. Now, I had an old pair of winter work boots. These have the reinforced toe. And I thought, you know, I'd like to camo them up as well. And I simply took the flat white paint to my boot. So the whole boot all the way up has flat white paint to add to the snow camo. So you can see how it's wearing a little bit, because this is like the second season, but that's okay. You know, it gives it a nice kind of, if you ever look at the forest floor in the wintertime, nothing is picture perfect. There's ground and greenery and grasses and different things and dirt, things that poke through. So the boots actually blend really well in the wintertime. So yeah, you can already take an existing pair of work boots you have or something like that, or old combat boots, get the white paint out, and now you've got winter camouflaged combat boots. And last but not least is your backpack. Now you can go with a backpack cover. You can probably find those relatively cheap, but I have quite a variety collection of backpacks, and this one I don't really use very often, so I simply took the flat white paint to the backpack. Now it worked really well. This was a tan, like a coyote type brown backpack, and spray painted it all over and just added a little bit of material to it. That was kind of an experiment this year. But as you can see, you know, it gives it a nice natural looking look to the forest, and it'll be really effective. So it's quite amazing what a little bit of flat white paint can do to your kit. You can literally transform your gear and make a really effective winter camouflage loadout. Now when it comes to your rifle and sling, you have a couple options. Previous winter, I took my semi-auto rifles and I hit them up with flat white paint. This year, I decided to try something different. Now, on my Black Creek MRX Bison 5.56 bolt action rifle here, I simply took white pieces of cloth and tied them all over in a way to help break up the silhouette of the rifle. So whether I'm sitting in a kneeling position or laying prone on the ground, the way that the material is on the rifle, it really helps to break up the silhouette of the rifle. Now, I contemplated painting my rifle, but I love the camouflage pattern so well that I put it on this one, and there's a video of it on the channel because I use the onion net and kind of give it that kind of a snake skin kind of look. I was like, no. I like that pattern too much in the rifle. So that's why this year I just opted with some old white bed sheet material. This might have been a old pillowcase, I think it was. So you probably got old white pillowcases kicking around. Get your scissors or a knife, cut up strips. You can wrap. I wrapped on the barrel here and then tied it off. I also wrapped here. This is kind of an experiment here on this end. I was trying some different things, so to see how it would with being pulling out the stock and pushing it in. So what it is the start of the material is taped right here with camo tape, and then it's wrapped and wrapped and wrapped, and then at the end it's tied off. So this it kind of looks a little flimsy, but it can't unravel, just the way that it's wrapped around and then tied off. So we'll see how it works. So, but overall, that's a cheap way, very, very cheap way to take something you already have in your house, like an old pillowcase, and you can transform it into winter camouflage for your rifle, and even throw some strips on your backpack.